What's going on, guys? Welcome to another TLG Reacts, where we will be reacting to, we got the Monster Hunter Wilds third trailer. We did already watch that on the Gamescom live stream, but we're going to watch it again because might as well. We also have Weapons and Mechanics, not trailer, but video. It's like a, well, it's all those videos that they're releasing over days into one video, so we'll be watching that. And then we have a preview of the game based off of somebody at IGN's experience with it at Gamescom. And yeah, we're going to be watching those, talking about those, and reacting to those videos. But yeah, I'm Seth. Joining me today is Chevy, and returning to the channel, Kris. Welcome back, Kris. How you guys
Hi.
doing?
Doing good, doing good. Obviously, it's a little different because we're in separate spaces right now, but
Yeah, we're trying to figure out the best way to do this, and I don't know if this is the best way to do this, but it is a way we're going to try and do it, and hopefully it works out all right. Kris,
yeah,
you haven't been on in a
I'm
while. How you been, and what have you been playing?
I've been good. I finally finished school, so I graduated. So
Congratulations.
double
That's awesome to
degree,
hear.
fancy. Thank you. I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14. New expansion out for that. I just have been playing 12 hours today of World of Warcraft because the new expansion came out for that.
Oh, yeah.
I've been playing a lot of Pokemon, a Pokemon fan game called Pokemon Infinite Fusion, which is really fun. But they have a lot of sprites in it for Monster Hunter characters, so I've been making a team of Monster Hunter monsters and destroying Pokemon with that.
Why are there monsters in Pokemon?
It's a community-based game, and so people are submitting sprites, and so they're constantly updating sprites to use. It's kind of like Pokemon Fire Red graphics, but they add Pokemon from current generations to it. They're constantly updating it, and people are constantly submitting sprites, and they have contests and voting for which sprites people want to add to it. And so there's a small community within it that are adding Monster Hunter monsters within the game itself.
Interesting. You also played... Have you been playing Elden Ring? Or just only with Chevy?
Oh, I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring as well. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to get back in and play that co-op with you guys.
We need to get Chevy to the DLC in that real bad. Real bad.
He needs to beat the game, too.
Mm-hmm.
So...
someday.
Yep, someday. How's the World of Warcraft expansion so far?
So far, it's pretty good. I've been playing a monk, which typically have had a lot of button bloat in the past, and they've curtailed that pretty heavily. I only have like 2 bars at most, not even 2 full bars of buttons, which is, it feels insane.
That does, I mean, even as somebody who didn't play a whole lot of WoW, I remember just shitloads of fucking buttons all over the screen, like on the side, on the bottom, and stuff. So that does sound crazy to me.
Yeah, and for monks, it was always full, like 3 bars of buttons, just
Yeah.
crazy. So it's nice to see them kind of listen to the community and bring it down a bit. And they really didn't take much away as far as like quality of life things from the previous expansion. So we get flying pretty early on. So it's pretty easy to navigate across the maps, which are pretty vast. And it just feels nice to be back in the swing of things. It feels similar to the last expansion, but there's twinges here and there of like new feeling content, new moves. They've updated your talent trees to have like heroic talents now, so it's kind of like a prestige class system.
Okay.
Which is really fun. So you've got your main spec, and then you have 2 hero classes based on your main spec. So it's really fun. It's really neat.
Sounds cool. It's nice to hear too that they're still, I mean, of course they're still supporting that game, but I'm glad that they're at this point still able to implement new features and things that are exciting for the people who are still playing it. So, because I feel like the people who play it now are basically the ones who've just been locked in, because you don't really hear about a lot of people finally trying it out for the first time. But also, I guess I'm sure there are some people, I don't know. I feel like there's been so many people who play that game though that everyone's already played it. So anyone who's
I
gaming,
mean, it's been around for as long as I can remember.
yeah,
So
it's fucking crazy.
I'm sure everybody knows about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, good to hear. Unless you have anything else to say.
Nope.
And welcome back. It's good to have you back.
Good to be back.
Yeah. So we're going to watch first Monster Hunter Wilds official Lala Barina and Scarlet Forest reveal trailer. We did already watch this, but we're going to watch it again and actually maybe discuss it. We were watching a stream before, so it was kind of rapid fire, go, go, go. But spoiler alert, we liked what we saw, so we're going to watch it again. So yeah, let's just jump into the video. Let me know if anything happens. We're doing on Discord like a shared YouTube thing, so hopefully it works out for everybody and we can pause and do whatever we need to when we need to, and it'll all work out. So let's try this out in 3, 2, 1, and go. Is it going?
Oh, there it goes.
There it goes.
My word. Is this a Lollabarina floret? We must be near its nest.
The old scarlet rot.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yep. How many legs does that thing have? 4?
It looks like it has 4 and then 2 like arms with hands in the front.
Yeah. It's not quite a spider, although it's definitely spider-esque.
Yeah, spider adjacent for sure.
Or like
Definitely
crab-like,
more
I guess.
Yeah.
There was a monster like that in one of the previous Monster Hunters. It was a spider that had like, not exact spider legs, but it was just a huge gross spider you had to fight.
We could do a lot worse for an
I don't remember off the top of my head. I like that it has the rose that comes out of those. It's really cool looking.
Once your business here is concluded, you should find shelter. The sands come alive this time of year, like a wild.
I said this last time, but I'm like
with light.
still impressed by how good looking the game is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the look of it, that must be this region's apex predator. Guild permission granted. Begin the hunt.
It's interesting because that thing obviously looks like a dragon, but also sometimes looks like a moth to me. In like one of the earlier shots, it almost like reminded me of like a moth's head.
Well, then, that, those head pieces moving to do that attack is like pretty crazy looking.
Yeah. That's fucking cool.
Well, I didn't catch that last time. The fucking Kraken arrows. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Chevy
that's
got that
cool.
in the last stream. We're both like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Now, can I loop videos in here? I think I can.
Find out.
Good.
And then
And then,
we
of
got
course-
the cooking again. So tasty.
Perfect.
Yeah. Get bonuses in Monster Hunter Wilds, save data bonus. Ooh. I guess
fun.
from World and Iceborne got it. Armor set, feline duffel weapon, feline trekker pickaxe, and then feline leather and feline acorn spade. Very cool. All right, what do we think? Let's start with Kris.
Okay.
There's so much here that I'm hyped about. Not just because it's just a new Monster Hunter, but there's a lot of like fine details that I'm really enjoying. Not just in like the landscape, but the character detail as well. It feels really flushed out. It feels really cohesive. There's a lot of, it feels like throwbacks and nods to other games in the past, and there's a lot of like hopefulness for me. Like the setting of the city being in the desert really makes me feel like there might be an option for what is it, the Gen Mora, the big whale in the sand fight.
Oh, yeah.
That epic fight. I think that would be great to bring back.
Yeah, it's the perfect setting for it, for sure.
Yeah, and yeah, these shots, they just, it feels so well put together and well thought out, and everything is put together for a certain aspect and so detailed.
Yeah, I love the scale. All the locations seem bigger than what we're used to in at least World. And World was definitely the biggest feeling of the Monster Hunter so far. So, and all the video we've seen so far of like being able to just jump on and off of your mount at any time really kind of supports that these locations are going to be gigantic. I guess Rise had pretty big locations too, but not really because it's a Switch, Switch game.
Yeah.
I guess on
Yeah.
everything, but yeah. So every time I see this, I just big sprawling open deserts, big, like even the town looks big, and all the monsters they're showing off are like gigantic, which of course they're going to be, but like, you know, it just seems like there's going to be more room to have these battles. Like even right there looked like gigantic. So
This
really
desert
fucking cool.
/ savannah landscape.
Chevy, thoughts?
I mean, I knew that they were using the Resident Evil engine or the RE engine, I should say.
Yeah.
When they were making this one, which they had kind of played with already with Rise. So, you know, we know they can make a game with it. But now that they're putting it on hardware that can do something, you know, we actually get to see it as a current gen game, which is nice. It has a lot of stuff that, you know, obviously harkens back to the Monster Hunters, which they're pretty good about doing anyways. But you know, some of the things I like, and I at this point I think they're just gonna be staples because I think the community just likes them so much. If I had to guess, but the territory disputes between the monsters, ever since they've added that was like such a great feature, and they showed it off again in this trailer. The impact that you know from Monster Hunter, like there's a scene where I believe that person's using a hammer, does like this like weird backflip hit, and it knocks the bear like looking one over. Should be coming up here. This spider-esque one has really like crazy animations, which is a lot of fun to watch, especially as it's interacting with the environment.
Is this what you're talking about right here, Chevy?
Yeah, right there, boom.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things with Monster Hunter is impact always feels really good.
That was one of the big things I noticed in this video is, and I expect it, but like there's so many instances where somebody hits one of the monsters and like their whole body gets thrown, or like you see the impact. And
Yeah.
it's funny because I still play games where you're fighting like things your size and it doesn't seem to have any impact, and they're able to
Yeah, exactly.
make these giant monsters seem like they're getting hit by these giant weapons that you're swinging. It's fucking super satisfying looking.
Well, like I could play World right now easily, and every time you get a nice just smack on a monster and you watch them, you just fall. I still feel excitement from that.
Yeah.
And that game's old at this point, so yeah, I like that a lot. I'm, you know, also the you know monsters they've shown, including, which I believe this is probably the what word do I want? The title flagship. Thank you. Monster is very cool looking. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to how many they're gonna have and like actually seeing the environments in full. So
Yeah.
And I
go
don't
ahead.
think it can't be understated enough that impact is really vital to these games. And that when I say impact, I mean like how what we're discussing is that the impact that weapons have on monsters. If you're swinging a big heavy weapon, it really needs to feel like when you hit or connect with that monster that they actually are reacting. And the smaller weapons don't usually get a lot of reactions to them, but they do on occasion when you build up enough, you know, damage on them, they'll react and stun back. But if you do impact too much, it doesn't feel right. If you do it too little, it feels like there's nothing happening. So it's a really fine-tuned balance that they've worked out really well.
Yeah. I've played too many games, and I'm fine with it, but I've played too many games where like you're just hitting an enemy, their health bar's going down, they're barely reacting or not reacting at all. And these games are always really good at the very least displaying the impacts, but also kind of like what you're saying in the combat as well. It can reflect how the fight even goes if you're hitting them hard enough and it's like staggering them or whatever. So yeah, they do a really good job. And what Chevy was talking about earlier, what the fuck are these called again? Where they fight each other?
those are territory disputes, basically.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do with that, because there's going to be, you know, these new monsters. How are they going to interact? It's always a spectacle to watch, especially when you're in the middle of a fight. I just remember seeing that again. But yeah, impacts matter, and they definitely look really well done here, especially because all the animations just look better than they really ever have. World wasn't on RE Engine, right? That was Rise?
Yeah, correct.
Which is crazy to me, because Rise is a lesser looking game than World. and this game looks more like World than Rise did, but this is on the RE engine, so they obviously have a an art style they're following, and they're nailing it with this engine because it reminds me of World except for better looking, which is awesome to be able to say. But and then this guy, I don't know his name, but this dude looks like he's gonna be a son of a bitch. This like electric dragon
They
thing.
usually are.
Yeah.
For on the cover. So
Oh yeah. Yeah, the spider guy
Yeah.
doesn't look like he's gonna be too tough, but he looks like a really cool fight.
it'll probably be early on.
Yeah.
They're probably showing very early ones.
Yeah, it seems pretty simple, like in comparison to what that dragon thing looks like it's going to be able to do. But I love the setting. I mean,
It also has really good animations.
oh yeah, yeah. And it's just because I'm fresh off of playing Souls likes. This just reminds me of like Elden Ring or Dark Souls or Lords of the Fallen or something. It's really interesting to see something that feels related to that right after playing games like that recently. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think like Elden Ring and Monster Hunter World are like some of the like best like action games personally that I've played. Just I think they feel really good to play. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird because I would never say that Monster Hunter is similar to Elden Ring or any of the Souls-like games because of certain things, but once you get to the more challenging stuff, they are hard games, Monster Hunter, and they both also are challenging, but they feel fair. Like you feel like if you failed or you didn't do well, there's something you could have done to improve that situation. It's not like you got fucked over, except for Dark Souls 3 where the camera still had issues and I can't see what's happening, so the boss just kills me. But that's old. That's the old game, so whatever. But yeah, it's interesting how they're kind of similar in that regard of like hitboxes, feels fair, challenging. So, and yeah, they are both really great action games. So,
Yeah.
you guys, anything else to say on the trailer?
The only other thing I was going to add was in Rise they experimented with writing on the
That arrow was
palamutes,
so cool.
and I like that they still when they also experiment with writing in World, but that was more like you kind of like called taxis.
Mm-hmm.
The mount in this, I like the direction it went because it's just basically like it's a mount still, and you still have your palico right as your companion. It just feels more like an actual proper mount versus like two very experimental systems, and they were both fine. I don't have any issues with them, but this one does feel like they're kind of pushing more towards having a focused mount instead of a thing that can be a mount. So.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, that's some of my friends that I've been talking about, and we're hoping that they don't revert back to like Worlds, like you said, mount system, and stick closer to what Rise did, where it's like you can control the Palamute, but you can also tell it to go in a direction, and it obviously has better AI than World did because it's a newer game, but it is a different team. The World team and the Rise team they're mobile versus PC or console gaming, so
Yeah,
they could have different ideologies about that.
Oh, definitely. When you're making a game for Switch first, before you really put it on anything else, you got to think about it with a different philosophy than if you're trying to make like your first like big budget AAA game that they did with World. World's ambition was like we got to like bring this to the mainstream and get everybody excited, and they did that. And then Rise was more like we're making another like portable, lower graphics game, which was also fun, but obviously the scale is completely different. So
they're really good about experimenting too, because like even in Rise they had that defense mode or whatever, and I didn't like it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
They tried something, so
Yeah.
and I definitely appreciate that. So
Yeah, and then the I haven't played Rise in a while, so I forgot all the terminology, but the fucking grappling hook bug thing.
Wire bugs.
Yeah.
wire bugs, yeah.
Yeah, that was an interesting thing too. I could take it or leave it, but it was fun for that game.
Actually, I like it, but I do think it should just stay in that game.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think that if they wanted to revisit that, they could make like a Rise 2 or something. But like the mount system, I remember playing Rise, I was like, this is really good. I feel like you could keep this. And in this game, we're seeing they've definitely expanded on it further because you can like have full on mounted combat, jump on and off while in the middle of a boss fight. Like, it's like this whole thing now. It's like integrated.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Anything else on the trailer? Let's jump to the next one. How do I do this from here? I'll just let it play from the end, and then hopefully it'll start the next one. Okay, so this video, if it'll pause, is the culmination of all of the weapon videos that came out over the course of days. As these were coming out, we had somebody on our Discord, link down below, putting them in our Monster Hunter section every single day. And because I knew we were going to react to them when they all came out, I was like, I got to like not watch these, but it was really hard to do that. Finally, I get to watch this. I have not watched this at all. Yeah, really excited to see this, specifically the insect glaive, because that's my favorite weapon. And then mechanics overview, which I did hear somewhere that there's a new mechanic, I think called focus mode or something. And they'll probably cover that here. So we'll learn about that and discuss it. You guys have anything you want to say before we jump into this video?
I've been willfully ignorant, so I have no idea what's about to happen.
Now, as we watch this, I'm in the same boat. Have you watched this, Kris?
No, but I know what the focus mode is.
Okay, yeah. I know a little bit about it too, but I haven't seen it. Should I pause in between every weapon to talk about it, or should we just watch the whole thing and talk about it after?
Probably the latter.
Okay, yeah. Because I can just go through and we can go back to weapons and talk about them if we need to. So, all right, so none of us have seen this. We know what focus mode is, except for Chevy, maybe.
I don't know nothing.
So let's watch this and find out more. In 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay, starting out with
right
focus
that.
mode.
I'm not sure.
Okay, so it's just highlighting where to hit.
Creating like weak points on it, like in World.
Okay.
It's just showing them.
I'll be curious to talk about this after the video. Just kind of want to get your thoughts on it.
That drag is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh! Too bad I hate playing greatsword.
Yeah, I've tried to get into it, but I never can.
It's like, you know, you risk it for the big bam.
But that's like every game for me. It's so hard for me to use like heavy weapons.
That felt good. Sorry.
No, it's cool.
It's so hard for you.
There's that focus mode.
Yeah.
It looks like after you hit it, the highlight goes away.
Yeah.
Blocking ding ding.
It looks like it caught it in its mouth.
This used to be my jam. Still like it, but
I definitely like longsword more.
yeah.
Mobility is very important for me in these games.
Yeah, same.
I don't know what you're talking about as a Duke player. I don't know what mobile is.
My favorite thing actually about longswords is the parry system. That's I find the most engaging.
Yeah.
I just like that you can delay attacks with it.
It's definitely flashy.
I used to not care about Sword and Board until World.
Yeah.
World made it
World
a lot
definitely
of fun.
has a great feel with sword and board.
Yeah.
Hang, punch him with a shield. Oh.
It's also nice to see that these armor sets and weapons, which have been like classic staples, are still consistently the same, just updated looking. You know, like graphically.
Well, I'm also noticing with that weapon where it looks like they're actually trying to add some appearances to weapons, which hopefully they maintain, because that was world's biggest weakness.
Oh yeah, that was my only complaint about the whole thing, really.
I don't know anything about dual blades.
You spin, you slash, you spin some more.
And then
Yeah, I
you
just know, like,
activate that mode, right? Yeah, our
Berserk
demon
mode, or demon mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no rolling down their spines in the world. That was it. That was cool.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
So satisfying. Oh shit. Oh,
That looks nuts.
I used them in like
cool.
earlier Monster Hunters,
Oh.
but I didn't use them much in World.
That's a cool hammer.
Oh yeah.
this set's crazy looking.
I love hammers, dude. They're so fun. Oh.
There's some sort of grapple hook system, because now we've seen it twice with
Oh
the
yeah.
blades and the hammer now.
Yeah, it's nice. It looks like it gives you like small little. Dude, that's so nice.
The weapons look way more imaginative in World.
Yeah, no, they look
yeah.
like Monster Hunter weapons.
Yeah, I feel like they're definitely gonna up the ante on this, because I think that was like the biggest thing people complained about.
I'm so glad they're showing the fucking hammer just making monster go flying.
Oh,
There we
you
go.
The dude
Wow,
hammer.
it's fucking crazy.
I love this weapon. It's a hammer with utility.
Yeah, it looks like a giant hammer.
Yeah, it is. It does the same damage in World. You just don't have combos.
I don't think I've ever used the hunting horn.
That was cool looking.
Whoa.
It's fun if you get once you get to the swing of things, because
Yeah.
It
you're
is.
just basically beating the crap out of them, and then when you have a moment, like right there, he kicked the horn to start playing, but it also counted as a swing.
You showing off?
Well, he's doing it wrong because he's not hitting his friend.
True.
Whoa!
That's
Just rock out? Oh,
That's a move from, I think, Rise. You put like a cocoon, a silk cocoon out, and it resonates with the hammer.
There's a lot more animations than I'm used to for that. That looks fun.
That looks like
That looks
Devil
appropriate.
Joe's.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a cool fucking set.
Yeah. That I cannot. I haven't put a lot of time into it, but that's not a weapon that I'm very good with. But then I watch people who are good with it, and they just feel invincible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to get good with it. I should probably try it again, because I always thought it was neat that you can just stand there and basically be like right in their face.
I just can't stand like the 3-button combos that typically have gone into weapons.
Yeah.
Another weapon I don't really jive with too much.
I
Yeah, pretty
should be into this. It's right up my alley, but I think I tried it a little bit early on in the world and then just stopped using it.
There's certain weapons where you gotta do a little more thinking than others, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know if I have
sure.
patience.
That's why I was surprised on how big World got, because like it makes sense to me that this game's awesome, or the Monster Hunter games are awesome, but like there is a learning curve.
Yeah, definitely.
Blender mode.
And
That is
Slacks.
sick looking.
yeah, it's cool.
Swax, baby. Sephiroth.
Bro, that set is insane looking.
I wonder if that's the new. It looks like it's doing ice damage. I was gonna say it looks like the new flagship monster, maybe, but those attacks are ice damage for sure.
Yeah.
Isn't this the most popular weapon in the world? Oh no, charge blade.
I think Switch Axes with Japanese players.
I know Switch Axe is definitely popular. I don't know about most popular though.
I love the Charge Blade so much.
It is also really pretty looking.
Yeah, it's really
That's
cool.
definitely the spider looking
Yeah.
at the dress.
Yep. Okay. Dodge, good dodge. Moves are all still there.
I'm so happy this has crossplay now.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is it dropping on PC the same day as everything else?
Yes.
Okay, so I still have to
Same
buy
day,
a
I believe.
console then.
Yeah, that's day one PC buy.
Yep.
Yeah, because I have Monster Hunter World on fucking PS4, PS5, and then you guys play it on PC, and I'm like, I don't want to buy it again. But
Dude, no, the armor set they give you, you fly through the base game.
yeah,
Iceborne. There you go.
oh yeah, oh yeah,
Is that a Puke? That's a Puke staff.
yeah, it looks like it.
That stance though, that was different. It's like holding above his head. Yeah, that.
Oh yeah, what is that?
It's very martial arts looking.
Yeah.
Wukong. Everything's Wukong.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah, dude, I can't fucking wait.
The Wild West look.
How much is this right now on Steam?
It goes on sale all the time for 30.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it's full price.
I don't need another game. I'm gonna get fucking stuck on.
I did not finish it, so
Rapid fire.
Yeah, I like the way that gun looks.
yeah, that's cool looking. I remember early on, like trying to do the I don't remember if it's light or heavy bow gun, but I just didn't know enough about it, and I just felt like I wasn't getting anything done.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'd probably handle it better now since I played the game so much.
Damn.
Isn't that what screenplays now?
I think he's talking about playing heavy bow gun.
Yeah, I remember he played one of them.
Oh yeah. That thing's fucking sick. It's amazing how many ranged weapons are in these games.
Bow is barely ranged, but yeah.
Yeah. That's fair.
I think it's basically a melee weapon. So interesting.
Damn.
Oh, that was nice. Right down his throat. Alright. There we go. There's the melee weapon.
That outfit.
Hell yeah. I fucks with it.
Body drop again.
So it looks pretty much the same so far.
That was Racer. Okay, that's the homing arrows.
Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
Oh.
That's good for like mobility. Like when you're dodging around shit, you gotta just get a shot off.
Oh, there's the move that makes all the melee guys stop their combos.
Oh yeah.
What's that?
Oh.
It's like a shotgun
Just
blast.
like a barrage.
It looked like it aimed at all the spots that were weakened and then just shot at them automatically.
Is that it? That's the whole
That's
video?
it. That's the whole thing.
That's all of it.
All right, so they showed off a lot of stuff there. I think it all looked honestly just fucking cool, but I kind of want to get your guys' thoughts on focus mode. It's not too different because before there'd be weak spots you'd hit, but now it's highlighting them. Do you think that's something that's something you're looking forward to, or is that something you think is maybe to be aimed towards like casuals possibly? Like obviously you're going to use it because it's in the game, but like do you think they added to the game to help people kind of figure out where they should be hitting? What's your general thoughts?
I definitely think it is an accessibility thing. They, with Monster Hunter, last I checked, World Iceborne having sold, was it 25 million copies?
Mm-hmm.
They probably realized their audience is bigger than the niche they had. So they probably saw some feedback from a lot of newer players that maybe wanted something like that. I don't know if I love it because I don't really feel like I need it.
Yeah.
But I do feel they tried to not make it too in your face. Like you can notice them, but I don't feel like it's too distracting.
Well, there's a couple scenes where it showed like multiple of them, and you notice them, but like they weren't super distracting, which is kind of nice. Like they're not like just this big glowing, like
right there,
like right there, yeah. They kind of blend in with the hair and everything too, so it looks a little more natural than just like a big highlight. But yeah, it does kind of remind me of like maybe they're looking at analytics and seeing like certain people or a lot of people weren't like really hitting people in their weak spot or hitting the same spot enough times. And so maybe they're like, maybe we should add like a feature. It kind of reminds me of, not to the same degree because I fucking thought it was super cheap, but like in stealth games, when those were still being made, they started implementing systems where you could like see people through walls and stuff like that, or like see where they're gonna, like Hitman, you could see where people were gonna walk before they walk there. I'm like, that's a little too much. Like, I guess if you want to put that on like easy mode, that's fine for some people, but like they're like showing it off as a feature, and I'm like, that's a little too accessible, but whatever. I'm not saying this is that.
Options are good.
Yeah, sure.
As long as they're options. Yeah.
So I'm not saying that's what this is, but I'm just saying it kind of reminded me of it for a second. But I think it's pretty neat. It's just, I don't know if it needed it, but I also haven't experienced it, so I can't have a strong opinion on it. What do you think, Kris?
From my understanding, from what I had heard about it in passing, is that it's not necessarily like showing the weak spots per se. It's spots that you've beaten over and over again that have become weakened. Okay. So like in World, when you beat a spot over and over again, it gets that kind of wear and tear on it.
Yeah.
The focus mode highlights those spots for you, so you can do focus attacks to do extra damage.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the extra damage thing, I guess,
it's only one arm and half of his face that had the focus mode. It didn't show the other arm having the weak spot.
Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, it's just a new way of doing something they've kind of done in the past. If that's the way they plan on doing it, where it's just highlighting spots you've damaged.
Well, I do know in World, people did actually complain about the what was it called, where you had to hit something over and over and over again to actually do any damage. Shoot, what was that called? Anyways, it was an unpopular thing in World.
Yeah, and this could be feedback from that. That's to clarify. I didn't mention the extra damage aspect of it, but weak spots, as in like spots you've hit. That's something you would notice in prior Monster Hunters. You have to keep an eye out for that, for the visual indicators and stuff like that. And so in this, at highlighting that, I could see that as being like a little more. I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but accessible, more accessible. But that it does do extra damage or whatever is definitely just a gameplay mechanic everybody's going to be taking advantage of. But that they chose to do it with a highlight is interesting. But I don't mind it. I think they did a good job with blending that effect. So it's not a fucking eyesore. It actually looks pretty decent, especially in the middle of combat. You notice it pretty well. So yeah. But do you like that, Kris?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
There is, and again, I was kind of discussing this with some other people. There's a fine line between like where accessibility is a good thing, and then it becomes overly accessible and kind of detracts from what kind of like Monster Hunter has been in the past.
Yeah.
So, for example, like in Rise, there wasn't really like a lot of like emphasis on like having to gather materials from like plants and stone. It felt like it was really easy just to kind of collect that stuff. Whereas in like, and I'm gonna date myself here, but like in like the original Monster Hunters, you had to like have like 87 pickaxes just to go on a gathering run
Yep.
to collect materials. And so there's like that fine balancing tune. So I hope that they don't overdo it.
Yeah, I think World
I think-
did a really good
Go ahead.
job of streamlining gameplay to just get in and get out. There were some things that I kind of missed on the older Monster Hunters where I felt like you're doing a little more preparation and doing a little more work around places to get things done. And in World, it was super streamlined. It's a really good balance between being streamlined, not too accessible, but also didn't take too much away from the older experience. So I think if you go a little further than that, you start taking away from the Monster Hunter experience. Then it's just basically boss fights constantly, which is what you're playing the game for. But there's a lot of little things that I kind of miss from the older ones that I would hate to see them take away completely. So yeah, I don't mind accessibility as long as it doesn't go too far. But I do think having certain features that you can turn on for people who want accessibility features isn't a bad thing either, just not by default. Just because, yeah, I don't. Just like, and we don't have to get into this conversation because I know I'm on one extreme end of this conversation, but I fucking hate yellow paint in games. Of course, there's some variables, but I fucking hate yellow paint. I think it's insulting to me, but I know a lot of people like it. I've had this conversation a million times now via TikTok and stuff like that. But if there was like a switch you could turn on and off in a game that's like, hey, we realize that this game might lose you sometimes in the environments. Would you like some assistance on directions to go? And you'd be like, yeah, I would like that. Or, nah, I want like a more, just leave me alone. Let me figure it out. And it'd be cool if games offered that. That would, squash my complaints of yellow paint, because I think it just takes me out of the fucking game. Yellow paint in games, unless it makes sense, like you're in an urban area and it's painted, like, yeah, that would happen. But when I see stuff like that, when it's super overt, it just is like me peeking through the game at the dev, and the dev's going like, hey, you go this way. Hey, go this way. It's like someone standing behind me going like, oh, see that ladder? Go up that. I'm like, just fucking let me figure it out. So yeah, accessibility can go a little too far, but I do like options. That's what I was trying to get to. You're gonna say something, Chevy?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I honestly, I think for most people, excessive grinding is going to wear them out, and I think them getting rid of having to have a million pickaxes and whetstones and stuff like that, overall was just a good change. I do think some of those systems do need to stay.
Yeah.
One thing I did notice in World a lot specifically was I almost never had to craft items because they just sold them, or like, especially when you get to Iceborne and you got basically the slot machine, we'll call it. You just got free stuff constantly.
Yep.
So the work got taken away. And I don't want to sit there and spend 2 hours collecting resources to build traps so that I could do a few hunts. Like that's gonna pull me out of what the part of the game which I want to do, which is the big fights, encounters. So yeah, there's definitely a balance for sure. I don't want it to be just boss rushing, because that's not what I'm playing the game for. I like the tracking. I like the the build up and the earning my way to making the monsters easier to fight and stuff like that. So
yeah, I agree 100%. Any highlights on the weapons that we saw?
they're gorgeous.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy to see.
We already discussed it, but I think it's worth mentioning again. Weapons are looking a lot more, even the armors, but like the weapons are looking a lot more exciting and different in design than Monster Hunter World, that a lot of the weapons kind of were pretty samey, just like different skins, different color variations, but they weren't like super imaginative. This and this is all early stuff, I'm assuming, is definitely already showing that it's got more going on, and that was like one of the biggest complaints of World. So it's cool to see that they definitely thought about that. It seems like this game has a lot of things, feedback wise, they're taking into consideration and kind of meeting people and what they wanted to see from World, basically, and even Rise. So I'm really happy with that. Every fucking armor and every weapon I've seen so far seems really cool, and really different and interesting. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say the visual style obviously is still like leaning towards more of the World look, obviously, but
For sure.
they have brought more of the style that you got in like more in Iceborne, because they did start being better about that towards the end of the game's life, and then Rise felt very much like a an older Monster Hunter in its visual styles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think they got a good blend going right now where it still keeps that World look but has some more like creative styles, specifically like when we saw the like the rose and spiderweb looking stuff, and then the purplish flowy robe looking set as well. They're just really creative looking. I liked it a lot. So hopefully there's a lot of them, because anyone who plays a grindy game long enough knows that the end game is fashion. So
Oh yeah. These poor monsters, just watching every single weapon, just beating the shit out of the same guys over and over and over again. Yeah. Anything else? No. Looks fucking cool. Focus mode's gonna be interesting. I gotta wait to experience it to really have a stronger opinion, but it seems like interesting at the very least. All right, so the next one we got is a preview from IGN from their experience with the game. I was skimming it earlier, and there was a feature that I didn't know the game had that I'm actually kind of interested in, so we'll talk about that. But other than that, we should probably watch this, see what they have to say about it, and then we'll talk about it. All right, let's get it going.
okay.
Monster Hunter Wilds is exceptionally exciting to me. I got a chance to go hands-on with it this week, and it feels like it recaptures what I loved about Monster Hunter World while learning from the joy that came from Monster Hunter Rise's enhanced mobility, finding a balance that felt great across the handful of missions I tried. It's unfortunate that the rough performance of this early in-development build put a little bit of a damper on my demo time, but if Capcom can sort that out by launch next year, Wilds could be exactly what I was dreaming of from the next Monster Hunter. Okay, let's address the gamut in the room first. This gameplay is going to look a little choppy. I'm willing to give Capcom the benefit of the doubt here to a pretty substantial degree.
Yeah, I wasn't
given
sure if that
Wilds
was
doesn't even have a
the
release
video we're
date
watching
beyond
or their
2025 yet, so there's
performance,
presumably
but
a
I'm glad they
lot of
cleared that
time
up.
left to polish things up. But it's still worth mentioning that this demo ran distractingly bad at times. The frame rate could slow to a degree that almost made it hard to play, and the group I was playing with saw multiple hard crashes. Again, this in-development build is by no means the final version of Wilds, but it is the version Capcom chose to show us. I can't help but be just a touch concerned that maybe that's an indication that at best Wilds might drop later in 2025 than I was expecting, or at worst that Capcom bit off a little bit more than it will ultimately be able to chew with its impressively ambitious scope.
The hit point bar is crazy.
That caveat aside,
yeah, I noticed that
had
too.
an absolute blast with Wilds.
It was like vibrating.
It's immediately
almost.
clear that it's continued to put a priority
Almost
on
like a
smoothing out
visualizer.
some of the traditionally rougher edges of the series. For instance,
I see they
rideable
kept
monster
the
mounts make a return
shortcuts
after
in the
first
top
being
right.
introduced as an automated option in World's Iceborne expansion,
Or the
and then
key,
expanded
I should
into
say.
full control in Rise. This iteration leans more
Bro,
toward
the
the
mount
latter,
is so cool.
defaulting to
Yeah.
following a target but allowing you to take the reins directly anytime. Your Dino Bird can scamper along special paths, glide, and give you time to use
the
or collect
legalese was
items,
there.
which makes travel engaging in a
range
way that
gathering,
feels
though.
less
You
artificial
do
than
the
Rise's
bust
Dino
gather
Bird.
Oh
is.
yeah. That's
But
cool.
it's not just a matter of convenience, as your mount also stores a second weapon option that you can swap to while riding. As
That's
a lifelong
wild,
insect
Yeah, that's
glaive
what I was
main,
talking
this
about.
didn't really appeal to me at first until I realized that you can
That's
also
really cool, but
use
I'm
ranged weapons like bow
interested
guns
in how this is
while
going to
mounted.
affect armor
That fully
loadouts, because you usually build a
recontextualized
loadout
this
for
system to me,
a
letting
weapon
me
type.
pepper a retreating monster
Yeah,
with
true.
bullets while my
Swap
mount
between ranged
automatically
weapons
chased it
and
down,
physical.
then
I
swap
assume you
back
just have
to
a
my
main
glaive
that
when it
you
was time to
focus
hop
on,
off.
and
I guess we're
a
all learning
secondary
ranged weapons
for
now, and I am very
kicks
okay
or
with that
for
added
situations.
flexibility. I can only really speak
He did kind of bring up though that he wasn't super into the idea at first, but then he was like getting on his mount and pulling out a gun and shooting while running around, and then switching back to the weapon though. So it's kind of interesting that you could have like your main build for your main weapon, but then have a secondary for certain situations. So it just kind of gives you more tools, which I don't think we've really seen. So it's kind of fucking crazy.
I think another way to look at that too is like typically, especially if you're like a solo player, right? You're gonna, if you're playing a slashing weapon, you're good against tails, but faces are useless for you. Now you can have a blunt weapon as well, and so
Yep.
if you're looking to break parts, you can just swap and just break everything you need to
Yeah.
as a solo player. So
Yeah, that's a really good point. All right, let's continue.
to my experience with the insect glaive when it comes to how weapons have
Oh, yeah.
changed, but I was surprised by the adjustments I saw there, most of which seem to be in service of the new focus mode that lets you more precisely aim your attacks at specific monster parts and special weak points.
Can I just point out, this is a small thing because I talk about this kind of shit all the time, but like the animations, of course, are really good, but I'm really impressed with how the monsters are interacting with the environment. This is like second time now I've seen this guy. Half his body's on one side of the tip of the dune, and his other half of the body's on the other side of it. And is like when they hit him earlier, he was like hanging off of it, like his whole body was kind of ragdolled on it, but he's still moving. And here he was like walking up the back of it, but his other half was over the top. Like the way it's just interacting with the environment looks like really fucking AAA. I'll just put it that way. Like it looks like you don't see this kind of like animation and like interaction with the environment to this degree. I'm really fucking impressed by that.
I found myself with a lot more options to sidestep or make micro adjustments while attacking, with seemingly fewer combos that would end with a move that killed my momentum, and more opportunities to really control how I was
the hit
laying
point
down
and
the
the
hurt.
stamina look crazy.
Again,
Yeah.
I haven't played enough to have the clearest sense of that shift just yet, but it feels like that Rise
These are so weird
philosophy
looking.
of speeding up some of the clunkier parts of combat is alive
Yeah.
and well, even if you
Those
aren't
could be
flying
just
around
his-
on a wire bug this time.
his
And if you'll
playstyle,
indulge some
but this is
glaive
also in the
specific
weapon trailer as
gushing,
well.
there are two massive
There's
changes
not a lot
that
of aerial
radically
action
altered
going
the
on
combat
with the
pattern I
insect
was used
glaive
to.
in the
First,
trailer
landing your
so far.
aerial
It's a
attack
lot of
no
ground
longer
combat
bounces you
with a-
back into the air for a chain of helicopter blade slicing, which was admittedly a huge drag to discover. But the loss of that goofy fun is
Wait,
at
what
least
did he
partly
say?
made up for by more
Can't fly
convenience
You
anymore.
don't
Makes sense.
bounce.
as hitting
You
a
don't-
weak point
yeah, you
with
don't
a special
fly.
Nuh-uh.
admittedly a huge drag
Yeah.
to discover
Go
of
back,
this
Wilma.
time. And if you'll indulge some glaive-specific gushing, there are two massive changes that radically altered the combat pattern I was used to. First, landing your aerial attack no longer bounces you back into the air for a chain of helicopter blade slicing, which was admittedly a huge drag to discover. But the loss of that goofy fun is at least partly made up for by more convenience tweaks, as hitting a weak point with the special focus strike move will not only deal tons of damage, it also immediately collects all three Kinsect essences at once, massively speeding up that process in the mid to late part of a hunt. Your aiming
It's
reticle
probably-
now also has a helpful
Probably
little indicator
intentional
that
because
tells you
you
which
could avoid a lot of attacks when you're flying, basically.
Yeah, I liked that though.
Well, sure.
No, the second thing they said I actually really like that it just gives you all three of the Kinsects. Like it's a nice little shortcut. But I fucking I loved being able to stay in the air, especially like I wouldn't just stay up there because you don't even do as much damage as you really want to be doing up there. You need to be down there getting your shit built up. But I used it a lot in like certain fights to like stay alive. If it got really fucking crazy, I could use it to my advantage in certain situations. But yeah, it's probably because you could just stay in the air, huh?
Said you might just need to play a different weapon this game.
No, I'm still using this. That's not the only reason I used it. I really liked doing that. So
Yeah.
I always liked helicoptering around, although I felt bad for people who couldn't do it because like I'd be fighting in the air, I'd look down, everybody's just on the ground getting hit and shit, and I'm like, not me. I'm just fucking flying around up here like I'm just a drone or something.
Right.
But I guess those days are over. So, all right.
essence the monster part you're aiming at will provide, and managing that system feels like less of a hassle all around. Even in my short playtime, I saw so many examples like this. Stuff that doesn't undermine the challenge and deliberate pace that makes Monster Hunter what it is, but does make the experience that much smoother. There's a quick option to use whatever recovery items you have that will minimize waste. Your hook can grab most items from afar, even while mounted. Collecting at gathering points moves just a bit quicker. You can finally pick up bomb barrels after placing them, and firing an SOS flare will even fill your team with AI hunters if you're offline, or until real people online are able to join. It's a laundry list of tweaks that aren't necessarily revolutionary, but all make so much sense you wonder why it wasn't like this
They're
before.
all just like answers to things from prior games.
Wild aims to keep hunters out in the field longer, too. Rather than kicking you back to town after a successful hunt, the second mission I did was structured closer to something like Iceborne's Guiding Lands, where you can stick around after to explore more or immediately take on a new mission, with world events and other dynamic things coming and going around you.
As well.
Oh yeah.
Rather than starting from a single tent, there's even a surprisingly large outpost on the map I saw, complete with NPCs to talk to. I didn't really get to dive into much of this side of Wilds in my demo, but it could add up to a very different feel between fights. And from what I did see, Wilds is shaping up to be pretty much what I hoped for. A Monster Hunter that embraces the parts of Rise that made it so much more inviting, but also doesn't shy away from the larger scale and depth that helped make World the more enduring entry for me. It's hard to tell exactly which way that needle will point after just a few missions, or if these structural changes will swing it somewhere else entirely, but I certainly can't wait to play more so I can find out. For more on Monster Hunter Wilds, don't miss the most recent trailer from Gamescom, as well as its mechanics overview trailer. And for everything else...
Was it this game that they announced that armors are going to be unisex?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I heard a bunch of people complaining about it. How do you guys feel about that?
I don't understand the complaint, because it's not like they're gone. You just pick which appearance you want out of the two.
Okay. So anyone can wear anything in that regard. It's not just like... Because I didn't read much on it. I saw people were complaining about it.
I mean, I guarantee there's going to be people complaining about it for obvious, like, certain reasons. But
yeah,
from a customization standpoint, like, you're getting twice the customization options.
Okay, that's a good point, because I misinterpreted what I read then. And I could see that maybe people, if they were uninformed like me, but didn't look into it like an idiot, and got upset, would maybe think that, like, if you're playing a girl, you have to wear some big, huge armor that a dude would have to wear, or if you're a dude, you get this armor unlocked and it's like a dress, and you would have to wear the dress or something like that.
But at least from what I saw, because I saw on Twitter that the Monster Hunter Twitter posted like the feature, and they basically said, choose your appearance, basically.
Okay.
And then it showed both of them side by side, and like you just pick one.
Yeah, if that's the case, then who fucking cares?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, it's just more choices.
Yeah, no, that's good.
If Kris wants to dress up as a himbo, for example, he could. So.
Yeah, that's just more choice, like more options. That's fucking what I want from everything. So. Yeah, if that's the case, then there's nothing to talk about. Whatever, I don't give a fuck. Okay, so what we think? We saw you can grab things from a distance, which is pretty cool. You're gonna be able to call SOS AI companions if you're playing offline or if you can't find people, which is pretty fucking cool in my opinion.
Like, you're not gonna find people, but yeah,
sure, but that's still really neat. Or maybe you're somebody who doesn't like to play with randos. Maybe you feel pressured. You can play with NPCs, which I think is really fucking neat. Being able to switch your weapon. You can bring a second weapon with you on your mount. That's crazy. They made some changes to the insect glaive that I got to experience to see how I feel about that.
That mount is so mobile. It's awesome.
Huh?
So I was saying that mount is so mobile. He's like stopping and instantly turning around.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't do that before, I don't think, with the Palamute.
I think it's a predetermined trail thing you have to interact with, but there's one scene where I was jumping through things and it looked so fucking good. Just like the movement. Really neat. But what were some of the highlights? What are you guys thinking?
Kris?
Where to begin? This really is feeling like they are taking World, upping the quality of it, and then adding the quality of life changes that people have been asking for. With in regards to like the discussion about like the clothing options, it's a non-issue, really. More options, who gives a shit?
Yep.
You know, the ability. Well, initially, I think to myself the ability to grab items just on the the wire bug or the zip line or whatever you call it, the grapple hook, is really appealing. It can be part of that like issue where I was talking before about like too much accessibility, where like you're not really gathering, you're just pressing the button and it's just zipping around, poking everything and pulling it to you, become a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
But I will say, watching the insect glaive makes me want to play it more, because I've always liked to play it more as a grounded weapon than being a helicopter.
I think you should be like, if you're using the insect glaive, you should be doing a little bit of both, and all in situations, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just gonna miss helicoptering around, because that was such a. There are certain bosses that or monsters that people are like, this guy was really hard. I'm like, not for me, just because I would just be in the air a lot. They couldn't hit me. So yeah, they're probably trying to make sure I can't fucking do that. So I get it.
Yeah, I just looked it up to double check. All they did was remove gender locking on armor. So
Yes, what the fuck's the issue? Apparently, when they're doing the live stream, like the chat was full of people saying a bunch of fucked up shit when they revealed that, because like they were upset by it. I'm like, I thought it was what I was saying. I thought they had locked, like everybody wears the exact same armor. There's no choices or whatever. And I was like, that seems kind of lame, but not to the point where I would be fucking angry. I don't care. But if it's just like you can pick, it's like, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
What's the complaint? Let us know in the comments. Like, honest question. If you're one of these people who has an issue with that, let me know. Like, you don't got to like try and fight with me about it or anything like that. Just like let me know what the legitimate complaint is, because I also a lot of times feel like when people complain about things in games, there are people who are just like, oh, they're just haters, and it's like, well, no, sometimes you have like valid fucking criticism. So like, I'm completely disconnected. So let me know in the comments what's going on with that.
yeah,
I also really like the aspect that the hub is not necessarily like the end all be all place you go after every hunt. It becomes like kind of like the wildlands where you kind of can keep going on hunts and exploring more. I love that aspect of it, and it really makes the world feel more alive that way.
Yeah, there's less loading and like going back and forth. Like you can kind of stay out there and keep going. It almost reminds me of like oddly enough, like Metal Gear Solid 5. You'd like go into a zone, you'd complete the mission, but you could like stay there and keep doing shit after it or leave. And yeah, that's what it kind of reminds me of here. Or like, it'd be great if like you could hunt this dude. Once you complete that, maybe this other dude's in the same zone. Maybe you have a chance to go find him as well. And it just gives you more of a streamlined, seamless hunting experience, as long as you have like the resources and stuff to go continue how you want to do it. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
yeah.
Chevy, anything?
I mean, he kind of said in the video they took elements from their last two games and kind of married them together while including some new features. Because it is very familiar still, while also still feeling different, which is nice. I am very much looking forward to having more armor choices because of fashion.
Yeah.
Because I already liked it in World, where like they changed the set depending on like, if you did the base version, the all the different variables. I can't remember the names of them right now, but hard, normal, hard, master rank, and all that stuff. And then they had like I can't remember the names of all the versions right now. Anyways, they had a lot of options per individual monster by the time World was done being worked on, and you're just like drowning in choices, and that's what I want. I want to be able to look how I want to look, type of thing, and change it up on the fly. I mean, that's a huge fact for me in Final Fantasy 14 as well. As much as I'm not like as big on glamour or dressing up as a lot of people are in that game, I still like having the options. The mount is very cool. We've seen it a lot, but I love how agile it looks, which is great. It takes corners really sharp, which I appreciate, because one thing I hate about mounts in almost every game imaginable is it's based off a horse, and horses can't take 90-degree corners.
Yeah. Yeah, the way it's
And that drives
shaped,
me
because it's
insane.
like bipedal but also has front legs. Like at one point you could see earlier, like use its front legs to do something,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
arms, whatever you want to call them. And it does look like a lot more agile. I also love that because of the setting, the new location, all that stuff, that we're not just getting the exact same system as like Rise, where we got were they Palicos?
Mutes.
Palamutes.
Palamute, yeah. I forgot what those are fucking called. Which are really fucking cool, but I just like that we're getting a mount system again, and but it's different, which makes this game feel fresh while maintaining. Basically, that's the name of the game of this whole game. It's just like, uh-oh, what is this? An ad apparently for a game that we'll see if it does well or not. But the name of the game basically is just like, don't fix what isn't broken, but let's like streamline, let's fix things up, let's improve certain systems, and also reintroduce systems that you guys really liked, but change them up in a way that doesn't feel the exact same. It's like the perfect balance of like, we want more Monster Hunter, but also we want new stuff, but don't fuck it up. And it seems like they're doing a good job on like doing that. It seems like, at the very least, I haven't played it, but this definitely looks like a game that like I really want to play, especially because I haven't played Monster Hunter in a while, and I kind of have the itch to play it again. But this is definitely like new and fresh, and really makes me want to play it.
Yeah, I mean, it was bad when I started playing World again, and then I got a message from Kris, and it's just like the two eyeballs. And I was like, you can hop on with me, it's fine. Yeah, I can always, like, if we were done recording and you're like, let's play World, I would play World. Like, that game's just really easy for me to just play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my other big thing, which was a pleasant surprise, I am the type of person sometimes who, like, it happened to me with World a lot, where I would turn it on, and I would most of the time be okay with just throwing out an SOS and going and letting people come and help me, but I'm not always feeling sociable, and the community in Monster Hunter is really good, so I don't usually have to worry about that too much. But sometimes I just want to play by myself, and the fact that I can have bots help me is awesome. I don't know how good they are, but like, it's still an option, because one of the worst parts, unless you're in a difficulty, and then it's awesome for you, I'm sure. I'm just not that kind of person. But if playing by yourself is like you don't get a break. The monster's on your ass nonstop. So
Yeah.
in multiplayer or with bots, the aggro gets shifted around. You have a chance to like take a breath and sharpen your weapon and stuff. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely very much looking forward, and not looking forward to this, because I already know the time sink it is going to be.
Oh, definitely. And you know they're gonna fucking support this shit for a while.
Like 2 years.
They're gonna give it the same treatment the world had, at the very least, because they're supporting that shit forever. You brought up a good point though, and we already touched on it a little bit, but the idea of playing with a group without having to play with people, which is a preference. Different scenarios, things happen. You're like, I don't really feel like playing with people right now, or I typically never play with people. But in a game that you can play by yourself, for sure, I've done it many times. And the fights do balance based off the amount of people you have, so it's not like unfair feeling when it's one person, but it is all the aggro on you. And so you do kind of miss out on the group dynamic of how the game's intended to be played, basically with people. And so being able to do that with NPCs, hopefully they play well enough, is really cool. It's a really cool thing that they're adding. It's a small thing. It makes complete sense. It is, like he was saying in the video, kind of something you kind of wish they had in older games. Just makes sense. So I'm glad they're adding it.
Well, and it also, looking like further down the road, adds to the longevity of the game, because eventually games like this get taken offline. You no longer have access to playing in hubs anymore.
Sure.
And so that option just allows you to continue to play it for as long as you want. You just use the NPC bots.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. That's a lot of games. I'm like, you need bot support in this game, because what if like you don't have people playing this in a year, like some small indie game that's like a multiplayer game. I'm always hoping for bot support, because like there's a good chance this game is not going to have that issue, but long down the road, definitely there's a chance that servers go down, but you still want to play it. You would have NPCs at the very least. So
how many people are even playing like right now? Like I know the game is just always has people to play with.
Yeah, and with all this wild stuff coming out right now, I'm sure people are. I mean, I'm even thinking about picking it up now on PC just from watching this. So I'm sure
it's
a lot
on
of people.
Sale right now.
Huh?
It's on sale.
How much is it?
A base game's 10. The bundle is 25.
Yeah, I'll buy it. Yeah, 25. That ain't bad at all.
Yeah.
Well, fuck. Okay. Ugh.
But they are currently, and it's 2:00 in the morning, but 55,000 people playing right now. So
it's plenty. It's plenty of people.
Yup.
All right. Well, I guess I got to go buy that. Yeah. Overall, closing up, I'm really happy with everything I saw here. It's more of what I want, but a lot of little tweaks, a lot of little changes, and a lot of new features that don't reinvent the wheel, but definitely seem to, from my perspective, just without playing it, enhance that wheel. A lot of features that I was hoping for in prior games. I do have a little bit of that concern of like, is the game becoming a little too streamlined and like be able to grab things from fucking a distance? I think it's a really good point Kris brought up. Because we did talk about at the beginning of the episode too, of like, they did kind of make the game a little easier to just do things and get in, get out. But not too worried about it, but it could definitely be an issue. But yeah, these fights are looking awesome. The monsters looking awesome. The weapons are imaginative looking. I'm really curious to see all the little tweaks they've done to all the weapons. If they did that with the insect glaive, they're doing to other weapons. And it doesn't sound like they're just nerfing it. It sounds like they actually changed some things up to just kind of like a fighting game. Like they'll in the next game like take this move away but add another move because like that move was kind of cheesy. Let's fucking just change the character up a bit. Sounds like that's what they're doing with this. So I'm cool with it.
It also makes it feel like a sequel / new game, depending on the obviously if it is a sequel or new game. Because if it's just the same moveset constantly, it just feels like more of the same going forward versus like you have things to look forward to, new things to like learn, and new skill sets to develop and stuff like that. So I think it's pretty important to change them up a little bit. There's core moves obviously that are like the signature of a weapon, and you don't want to like get rid of that because then it feels completely different. But you also want to stimulate people's brains a little bit, especially like longtime players.
Sure. Yeah. And having to learn some of these new moves as a longtime player, will be exciting and interesting. So,
for sure. And potentially make you like a different weapon. Like I hated sword and board, and then in World I was like, sword and board's dope in this game. All right. So
yeah, it's a good point. Doing some tweaks to the weapons could make them more interesting to people who would maybe otherwise not use them. And now that you can bring a secondary weapon with you, it gives you more room to maybe bring a weapon, see if you like it or not, but then still have old dependable with you or old reliable. So it'd be a good way to sample weapons without fully committing to a weapon you fucking hate during a hunt. So that just occurred to me. That's pretty cool. Yeah, overall, really excited. Can't fucking wait to play this. I'm going to go buy Monster Hunter World now because this has me wanting to play Monster Hunter. So, do you guys have anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
It can't come soon enough. It also can come too fast. I have conflicting feelings. But the priority is going to, yes, I want to play it. I'm excited to play it. I'm just also, I know how much stuff I haven't played yet.
Yeah. Yep. That's all. Every time a brand new game comes out, I'm like, it's stacking that on top of the rest of them.
Yep.
So, anything for closing, Kris?
I am just everything I've seen so far. I'm really excited for.
Yeah.
It's looking really solid.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Monster Hunter fan, I don't see how this would look bad to you at all. So, looks like what we want more of. So, let us know in the comments what you guys think about all that we've watched, the combat, the mechanics, all the new features they're adding. What do you think about the preview we watched? Anything that was in there that was a highlight to you, bring that up. And then the trailer, was there something that happened in the trailer we didn't talk about possibly that you want to talk about? Bring it up in the comments. Also, what do you think about the new monsters we've seen so far? We think about the Scarlet Rot. We think about Elden Ring. And yeah, let us know everything you think about in the comments below when it comes to everything Monster Hunter and Monster Hunter Wilds. I think that's going to do it, though. Thank you, Chevy. Thank you, Kris, for joining me for this episode. Kris, we got to get you back on the show more regularly. We'll do taste cast, stuff like that. So it'll be fun. And I've been Seth. Until the next episode, have a good one, guys, and take it easy.